S21.373, week 6, part 8. Let's talk. I'm gonna back up and say some stuff I probably should have said earlier. I'm gonna talk a little bit about why Coriolanus doesn't like praise. It's very confusing because when we do something successful, we want praise. In fact, oftentimes the things that people complain about in modern day America is they do nice things and they don't get it. People don't notice. That's why we have Facebook, because you put things on social media, on Twitter, on Tumblr, Instagram, and then people say, "Oh, great job! You look beautiful. You're cool," and we love that. It's fun. You get the little likes on it. You put a good picture of yourself up, and people like it, and put a little heart. But Coriolanus doesn't like that. It makes sense if you think about it. For Coriolanus hates the crowd. He hates the public. He hates everyday people. He thinks they're cowards. He thinks they're stupid. He thinks they're fickle. They change their mind every 2 minutes and they're just idiots. He hates them. So he doesn't like to be praised because he feels like he's being praised by idiots. And so the praise is worthless. He doesn't want to hear it. He also doesn't want praise from the crowd. And this is complicated. He doesn't want praise from the crowd because when the crowd says, "You're great, thank you for fighting for us in the war," he's not fighting for them. He's fighting. And of course, he does fight in the wars. And he does save his country. And he does good things for his country. But the benefits his country gets, they're like a side effect. He's not trying to help everyday poor people by winning wars. He just likes fighting wars. He just likes it. Now, as a side effect, they get benefits, and that all works out fine. But when they praise him, it makes him feel like he's doing it for them. And he's not. He's doing it for himself. He doesn't give a shit about them. Now, it's complicated and ironic because a soldier killing a country's enemies, that's really useful for the country. And so he is helping all these people. But that's not why. He doesn't do it to help them. He does it because he loves winning fights and he's really good at it. Because if he does something good and he gets praise, he's worried that people are going to think he's doing it for the praise. And he isn't. He's doing it because he likes it. God, there's a big thing I could do right now. Am I going to do it? Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm going to do it. I don't know if you know The Good Place. This is a big thing Chidi talks about a lot on The Good Place. And listen, if this is boring, you can just ignore this and skip it. And I'm going to do a little sidebar on something completely ridiculous, and I apologize for this. They'll do a little advanced philosophy shit. There's two major schools of ethics. They are deontological and utilitarian. Don't worry about the names. It's not a fucking quiz on this, whatever. The problem with the two schools of ethics, there's two ways of making ethical or moral decisions. What makes this interesting and complicated is that when you hear about each version, it's going to seem like the right one. And when you're done, you kind of need to choose a school. Like, how are you going to make decisions? Are you going to go with the utilitarian way of doing it, or are you going to go with the deontological way of doing it? And most people sort of randomly, one time they'll do this method, the other time they'll do this method. You really shouldn't it doesn't really make any sense to do both, although most people, because it's so confusing, just do both. But it doesn't really make any sense to do both because they're really very different ways of thinking. But most people don't think about their ethical decisions. They just kind of make moral and ethical decisions from the gut. But if you actually think about why you're making the moral and ethical decisions, you run into some trouble. So let me just really quick explain deontological versus utilitarian ethics. It's when you hear this, it will make sense. Don't let the word deontological scare you. There's not another name for it. That's what it's called. I hate that name. Okay. Utilitarian ethics is really simple. Something is morally correct to do if it benefits the most number of people. That's it. So if you can help, if you have a choice between helping 2 people and helping 10 people, you help the 10 people. You want to help the most number of people. It's utilitarian ethics. It's really simple. You just do a little calculation and you see, well, is it good for a lot of people? Does it do good things for other people in the world? Does it have a positive effect on the world? And if the thing you're doing has a positive effect on the world and the people in it, then it's morally good. And if the thing has a negative effect on people in the world, then it's bad. It's a very simple way of making decisions. So, okay, but I really kind of wish I hadn't started this, but I'm going to keep going a little bit. This is tough to talk about. Deontological ethics is a little bit different. In deontological ethics, see, in utilitarianism, you do the right thing because it helps. But in deontological ethics, you do the right thing, bear with me. In deontological ethics, you do the right thing because it's the right thing. Doesn't matter who it helps. Doesn't matter who it hurts. The right thing is the right thing no matter what. And you do the right thing. Oh, is that going to harm somebody? That doesn't matter. Your duty is to do the right thing no matter what. Those are the two schools. Those are the two schools. And we use both of them all the time. So, for example, some people will say it is morally okay to do the death penalty. Let's do death. Let's start with death penalty. Let's try that one out as an example. Some people say it's morally okay to do the death penalty. Then you go, wait a minute, I don't think it's moral. You're killing somebody in the death penalty, so that's bad. And people go, yes, we're killing somebody in the death penalty, but it deters crime. See, I'm not saying this is true, but this is the argument. That if criminals see people going to death row, they won't want to commit crimes because they won't want to go to death row. It acts as a deterrent. Now, you can get in a debate about whether it really does that or not, but this is the argument. That the death penalties have a positive effect on society by showing that society is strong on law and order. Right? Deontological ethics says killing people is always wrong. And they go, well, what about, but in the death penalty, it's actually useful for society. And the deontological ethics people go, I don't care if it's good for society. Don't kill people ever under any circumstances. And then you can do this. A million different complicated examples will make this worse. So deontological people are like, killing is always wrong. Therefore, don't eat meat, ever. Therefore, don't. Abortion is always wrong, no matter what the circumstances. But the mother will die. I don't care about the consequences. Abortion's always wrong. That's deontological ethics. But the mother will die is but the benefits to society outweigh the problems. That's a deontological way of. I'm sorry. That's the utilitarian way of looking at abortion is, well, we have to do the abortion or their mother will die. So it's okay to do the abortion because that makes the mother live, and that is overall a net gain for society. But the deontological people don't care about that. They just say, killing is always wrong, abortion is killing. Again, is abortion killing or not, and that's the whole debate. But the point is that, and the finer points of it are not what I'm doing today. I just want to, there's just two ways of doing things. Are you doing things because it makes the world a better place, or are you doing things because these are the right things to do? Doesn't matter what the consequences are. Yeah. There's a great Punisher story. It's called Punisher: The End, and it's one of the best comic books I've ever read. And it's a great story. It's about deontological ethics. The Punisher, it's about the end of the world, and basically the Punisher's whole thing is if somebody does something terrible, like, child molestation or whatever, he executes them. So this story takes place at the end of the world, and it's a whole thing. And basically, it's a bunker with a bunch of people who have survived the apocalypse, and they're all bad people, so he murders them all. And then the guy that helped him get there, he discovers, like, that guy's a child molester. And it's the end of the world. Like, the nuclear bombs are going to go off in like 45 seconds. And the Punisher's like, okay, I'm going to execute you now. And the guy's like, why? I helped you. What's the point? Like, we're all going to die in 40 minutes anyway. And the Punisher's like, I don't care. You did the wrong thing. I'm killing you. Blam. And that's how it ends. They're like dying of radiation poisoning already, and it doesn't matter. If you understand, anyway, a lot of the good place is spent on that debate between utilitarian ethics and are you going to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do? That's deontological. Or are you going to do the right thing because it will help people and benefit society? That's utilitarian. Why the fuck am I talking about this? Because Coriolanus fights wars. Not for gold. He's not a utilitarian. He's a deontological person. Coriolanus fights wars. He doesn't do it for the gold. He doesn't do it because it helps society. He does it because it's the right thing to do. And he doesn't want praise because it makes it seem like he's doing it for the praise, doing it for the gold, doing it for the benefits to society. He doesn't give a shit about society. He fights in the wars because it's the right thing to do. And anything else, when they offer him any kind of reward, oh, here's a woman, here's gold, here's praise, here's a ceremony, here's a new name, it makes him uncomfortable because it's pulling him away from his belief system, which is, I'm going to fight because fighting's the right thing to do. It cheapens it for him if it's about the reward. And so he doesn't take any reward. Anyway, complicated guy. I'll see you in the next video.